It has been over 12 years since that fateful night in Abbottabad, Pakistan, where the world's #1 terrorist perished at the hands of the United States Navy SEALs and Dev Crew. Since then, there has been an explosion of books, TV, movies, video games, and motivational speakers to all sell you the Navy SEAL way of life. A lot of people would assume that this was propaganda to get young men into the Navy. Regardless, this worked tremendously. The SEAL community has been sitting around 100% capacity due to the number of people who were inspired by their stories and got through the rigorous training. But what was the reason for the success? Sure, it was their selection, known as BUDS, being advertised as the hypermasculine test of endurance, grit, and strength, as well as the marketability of their tactics, mindset, stories, and way of life. But in all honesty, that can be done with any other special operations force. But as a bona fide author, Navy veteran, and previous SEAL fanboy, I see another facet that makes the SEALs the perfect unit for movies, TV shows, and video games. The Navy SEAL mission set fits perfectly within narrative storytelling. But before we get into this video, if you want to be in the military, I have ASVAB tutoring and life coaching available through Fiverr in the description below. I also have a really awesome book that I want you to read so it can get popular, turn into a movie or series, and save Hollywood. Now, breaking down most action and adventure stories, there's a central pattern that most journeys follow. This is known as the monomyth. The monomyth follows a specific structure and progression involving a hero amongst a group of other protagonists who embark on an adventure, undergo a series of trials and challenges, and ultimately return transformed. While the specifics may vary, the underlying structure remains consistent. When discussing the hero's adventures in the context of military strategy, some of those adventures can be likened to a direct action raid. In the monomyth or hero's journey, the hero often confronts and overcomes obstacles, engages in combat, and achieves specific objectives. Similarly, direct action raids involve targeted strikes or operations aimed at achieving specific objectives through the use of force. In the hero's journey, the hero may embark on a mission to rescue someone, recover an object, or confront a specific enemy. They often employ tactics such as stealth, surprise, and combat skills to accomplish those goals. In direct action raids conducted by military forces, special operations units carry out precise and focused strikes against high-value targets, enemy installations, or other specific objectives. These raids involve the element of surprise, speed, and precision, and often employ things like small unit tactics, close quarters combat, and specialized equipment. So, while the hero's adventures and mythology and the military strategy of direct action raids are not exactly the same, there are similarities in terms of objective-driven operations, the use of force, and the employment of specific tactics to accomplish a mission. Now, when it comes to the list of commands in the United States Special Operations Forces, each unit is at least capable of these missions below. But there are some units that specialize in certain missions. For instance, the Army's Special Forces is suitable for unconventional warfare and foreign internal defense, meaning that they are at their best when they're deployed in teams of 12, with a ton of conventional support, to sneak into a country, raise an army, overthrow a government, and leave. The operators that form the Air Force Special Warfare comprises of very niche missions such as battlefield access, global strike, and personnel recovery. But if you're a writer that wants to have a group of guys fight some bad guys, you'd want to deal with units that especially deal with direct action. That mainly leaves the Army Ranger Regiment, Navy SEALs, and the Tier 1 units. For those of you who don't know, the Ranger Regiment is the Army's premier direct action light infantry force. They are capable of going anywhere in the world to direct high-intensity raids. Rangers are highly trained and physically fit soldiers who undergo rigorous selection and specialized training. They are known for their exceptional combat skills, versatility, and ability to operate in challenging environments. Rangers are proficient in various combat techniques, including airborne and air assault operations, reconnaissance, and specialized urban combat. Now, while there are some big Ranger movies like the acclaimed and respected Black Hawk Down, it seems like they should be getting just as much narrative attention as the SEALs. But when it comes to narrative storytelling, there is a problem that most people don't see: the difference between the number of operators the Rangers and SEALs send on their missions. The SEAL platoon, one of the most basic unit levels, consists of only 2 officers and 14 men. On the other hand, a Ranger rifle platoon is 1 officer and 34 men. When going out on a mission, it is common for Rangers to go out in companies of over 100 operators bearing down on a target. While this was instrumental in the real-life raids against our enemies Al-Qaeda and the Taliban, it doesn't make for a good story all the time. The protagonist should have stakes involved, and it's hard to have that when Rangers are so good at overpowering the enemy rapidly and then just leaving fast. The small numbers of SEALs make it more intense as they utilize stealth and precision to accomplish their goals. The sheer number of Rangers on a mission also makes it difficult to characterize them all. The smaller the teams, the easier it is to get the audience or player attached to the characters that the writers created. Another point that I'm missing are the Tier 1 JSOC units. Fun fact, I actually wrote my senior thesis on these guys as well as the CIA ground branch, so I get a little bit excited when I talk about this. JSOC's primary goal is to conduct the highest priority missions, reporting directly to the president. They are often high risk and in complex environments, particularly in counterterrorism. They can best be described as the varsity division of US Special Operations. Their freedom to operate anywhere in the world to stop terrorists, as well as the freedom from a lot of military regulation, lends itself particularly well to a writer's story. But the 2 main forces that deal in stopping the enemy are the Combat Applications Group, aka CAG or Delta Force, and the Naval Special Warfare Development Group, also known as DevGru or SEAL Team 6. Now, while CAG does have their stories told, it is undeniably clear why the SEAL's big brother DevGru is so popular in pop culture, and why they made 2 shows about the same thing around the same time, and the one with more nuanced writing, better character development, and personal story got dumped. The SEAL Team 6's successful mission to eliminate one of the world's most wanted terrorists elevated their status and increased their visibility among the general audiences. As a result, their portrayal in books, movies, and other forms of media became a lot more prevalent. Their involvement in the Bin Laden raid has contributed to their recognition and has made them the focal point for storytelling and representation in the Special Operations Force. The association between DevGru and the other SEAL teams adds to the appeal for more realistic stories and badass escapism. The close-knit relationship and cooperation between the SEALs create a rich tapestry of characters, skills, and missions that can be explored in narratives. This interconnectivity offers opportunities to depict diverse special operations scenarios, team dynamics, and intricate mission planning, which adds to the authenticity and realism of the stories. So now that we know that the SEALs are so popular, what does this mean for the future of military fiction? I think that the other special operations forces can have their stories told in other unique ways. For instance, a movie could be made about Air Force Special Tactics Squadron looking to save somebody behind enemy lines. Personally, I believe that the Army Special Forces lend themselves to great marketability for their stories. 12 Strong was a kick-ass movie, and it didn't follow the same story beats as a SEAL mission. The insertion of 12 men going in alone into a foreign country, having to work with an indigenous population to earn their trust, and overthrowing a tyrannical power can not only lend itself to high-stakes stories with deep and personal characterization, but also makes America look good again. Trust me, our country needs a W after what's going on in the world, and the use of an American force teaching the oppressed to rise above is just what the Founding Fathers intended. Anyways, that's all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to this channel. It helps me out immensely. Comment down below any questions you might have. I'm going to actually start responding to the comments. And again, for the love of all that is good, and a God-given duty to protect it, I'll see you guys in the next one.